Hey folks, Evil DM Podcast. So sitting here today listening to some people chat about role-playing games, and it came to my attention that they were talking about a diceless role-playing game, and I'm like, what the hell? That's not a role-playing game. It's like playing improv class. But I listened in on the conversation, and they talked about how they would, do this or that, and make up stuff and pass around sticks or little beanies or something like, or beanies. I meant to say bennies, but it came out beanies. Bennies for certain things, and I'm just like, that's not really what a role-playing game is. But I guess story time can be a role-playing game. I'm not sure how you want to list that, but when I was a kid, we did actually sit around before we discovered role-playing games. Well, I shouldn't say before we discovered it, before we were allowed to play them. We used to play story time, was what we used to call it. And we would sit there, and me and my buddy would make up all these little stories about how we had this giant creature that would hand us the magical book of stories. And one person would be basically the dungeon master, and the other person would be the person playing. And the person who was the dungeon master would write the story as if you were playing a role-playing game. Now, at the time when we were little kids, we really didn't have anything to roll or anything because we didn't know about it. So we kind of just used the six-sided dice for the randomness of rolling, and that's how it worked out. So it was kind of imitating what would be the same as a role-playing game. But we would have these little stories about it, and we always had like our own little character. I remember one of the characters that my friend made up was an old man, and the old man always wore cherry red Reeboks, because at the time, like, Reeboks were popular, and this was, talking the 80s here, and they were high tops, and it was always funny because the old guy wore high tops. I don't know why he wanted to play an old guy of all things, but he played an old guy, and we also made fun of, people in our life during these games. So we had teachers that we didn't like, and the teachers would be the bad guys and everything like that. And it was just basically two kids just playing around and having fun. And then we would act them out, and we had little sticks, and we'd have like little gunfights and things like that, run around the yard. And I guess that's the same thing as pretty much playing like a LARP or a diceless role-playing game. But as an adult, looking at that, I don't get why you want to play a diceless role-playing game. We play role-playing games because, we like the randomness of the die, not the whole, you can't do that to my character because I have an edit. No, it doesn't work like that to me. I guess to each their own when they want to play a game, and I really can't look down upon someone playing a game the way they want to play, and that's very wrong of me, so I'll say that right here. But it doesn't ring as a game in my head, and it actually just really makes me go, ugh. So that's kind of why I put up a graphic today on Facebook. We'll do facebook.com/theevildungeonmaster. I put up that this is my face when I hear diceless role-playing games. It's actually a role-playing game. It's not. It's just, like some people have commented on it already, it's basically improv. It's not really role-playing games. I don't understand it. If you do understand it, why not just, leave me a message and tell me what you think about it. If you want to yell at me, sure, leave me a message yelling at me. Maybe I'll play that too. Who knows? Maybe I won't. But I'm trying to think here why anybody would want to play it. Really, why? Can you tell me why? I'm not exactly sure why. And speaking about things that kind of annoy me is, you ever play in a public area, like a public game, at, say, the comic book store, or, I don't know, at your local gaming store or the library, or I've seen some people play half-price books, and they have a little table there because they have their own game days there now for that. And even at the local, recycle bookstores, I've seen little games here and there, and seen little games, and even in the park, I've seen kids sitting around playing like we used to back in the 80s, playing D&D. Yeah, we did play D&D in the 80s back in the middle of our park. We had this big gazebo we'd sit under, and we'd get our dice together and our papers, and we'd just sit there and just play the game because it was a nice day, and you play it outside, You get some fresh air while you're playing D&D. Why not? But one thing I can't stand is when you're playing these public games and you see some people watching, which is fine. People want to watch because they're interested in games, and then maybe they sometimes join, which is like, yeah, we got a seat for you, pull right up. That's how I learned a lot of some of the games I've played, and I can't speak again. But what I don't like is that people that watch on the sideline and then comment on the game like, that's not how it's handled. It's just like, shut the fuck up, dude. This is not your game. Go away. And that's usually how I handle those people that say things like that to me when I'm role-playing a game. They're like, actually, it's just like, fuck you, go away. I don't have time for your stupidity, and this is my game. Yeah, maybe that's just a little bit rude, but you're rude for busting in the middle of my game. And usually I usher those people away, and by that time when I do that, they leave. So, yeah, that's probably my New York attitude coming out, even living in Texas. But it has happened when I'm running a 5e game, which I don't run anymore because I can't stand that edition. The people that get involved in that are so annoying. But I was playing it a little bit different. I was trying to give that 1e feel to it. And someone gave me the actually comment in the middle of my game, and I looked and I was like, what? Where did that come from? It was someone standing on the side of me looking over my shoulder while I was running going, actually, not what it says in the master manual. It's like, dude, shut up. Go away. This is my game. If you want to run a game, feel free. And he just looked at me like I had 4 eyes, and he went, fine, and he walked off. It's just like, go away. I really can't stand that. But I don't know. What do you think about those types of people? Do you have any opinions on that? Do you just shuffle them away nicely, or do you just get nasty like me because you're tired of people being annoying? With that said, I'm going to head out and keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.